big guy, been down, wing gang, 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 gang. You know, big guy, big moves, set free, lip blonde day. That's how we living. It's lit. One life living, I don't really get a redo. Walk by faith, let the Holy Spirit lead.
What's up? It's the lovely Ketsia, and I hope you guys are having an amazing day, week, month, and year. I know the year just started, but hey, let's try and keep it positive, you know? So I know sometimes I do sit down videos and sometimes I do vlogs, but today's gonna be very much a sit down video because I want to talk to you guys about something that I feel like is important, you know, because I feel like a lot of people can relate to this topic that we're going to discuss today. And the topic that we're going to discuss today, as you saw in the title of this video, is learning how to leave people alone and mastering that. Because a lot of times people stay places where they don't need to be, around people that they have no business dealing with, doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing. You know, whenever you have the wrong people around, it can lead to a whole lot of other things just going in a downward spiral. And I learned that recently in these past couple years, and I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, when it's time for me to pack my bags and go, I pack my bags and go. I've experienced enough hurt, pain, and just repercussions, period, for not leaving people alone sooner than I should have. And I feel like because of those times, I've gotten stronger. Because of those times, I have gotten wiser. Because of those times, I have learned more life lessons. So I never count it as an L. I really just take it as a lesson and I keep it pushing. But I know a lot of people have a hard time leaving people alone. I've gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't serving me, time to go. And you have to be able to discern the difference between a hardship that you and a person will get through, whether it's platonic or romantic, or a situation that is clearly indicating that it is time for you to remove yourself and get out of there, because you don't ever want to sit there and be in agreement with anybody that God's not calling you to be into agreement with, because it will hurt you. I mean, it may not hurt you initially, and sometimes it does, and we still sit there like idiots dealing with the person on whatever level it is. But sometimes it'll hurt you initially, and sometimes it may hurt further down the line, but it's better to just feel a little bit of pain and heartache from having to let somebody go than to be in distress and have to break that soul tie because you held on to somebody so tight for so long, and you knew that they were not healthy for you, they were not beneficial to you, and they just didn't need to be there. First, I'll start by being a little bit vulnerable. I had a lot of situations that transpired, whether it was a relationship. I had a few relationships that definitely needed to die in the past, and I've had a few friendships that, actually a lot of friendships that had to just end. It had to end. I didn't want it to end, and we usually don't want things to end when you're super invested and you're super tied into it, but it just had to. And it was a lot for me. There were a few seasons where I dealt with that, and I feel like until you really get resolved about something, God will continue to bring you that lesson over and over and over again until you really get it, because it's so imperative for whatever it is that God's trying to do in your life, for you to learn the lessons that he's trying to teach you. So definitely learned my lesson there. And prayerfully, if ever, hopefully I will not have to deal with another situation that requires me to have to do that, rip that Band-Aid. Oh God. I mean, this is part of life, but prayerfully, we're in the clear, you know? And even if we're not, and there are situations that come about that I have to handle, I know that I have the tools necessary to handle it. So yeah, let's start with friendships, because sometimes that can hurt worse than having to separate yourself romantically from a person. I know that in my life, I've had a few best friends. At the time they served their purpose, it was cool, but at the same time, they definitely didn't need to be a part of my journey. And that's okay. I don't wish them any ill if any of them see this for whatever reason. This is not a jab. I promise you, this is not a jab. This is not whatever. The same way you didn't need to be in my life, I didn't need to be in yours for whatever reason, and that's okay. Whoever's supposed to do this thing called life with you will do this thing called life with you, and I wish you nothing but the best. So let's just get that out the way. And that goes for anybody, period, honestly, that I had to let go of. Because I know it's a mutual thing. It's never a one-sided thing. Whoever's purpose to be with you, it goes both ways. So, and whoever isn't purpose to be with you, it goes both ways, and that's fine. But yeah, so I've had a lot of friendships where it just wasn't serving me. It wasn't conducive to where God was taking me. And it just didn't need to be a thing. So I learned to basically stop leaning so much on my understanding, because a lot of times God will give you revelation about people who are supposed to be around, people who are not supposed to be around. And it's just a matter of, are you listening? Because God speaks all the time. It is literally just a matter of whether or not you're listening. And God will show you someone's face multiple times. It is a matter of whether you're going to heed the warning or not. Now, sometimes it takes a little time for someone to show you their face. But when they do show you their face, what exactly are you doing with that information? You know, because there's instances where it's like, oh, okay, this person's just, going through something cool. And then there are instances where it's just like, okay, actually, this is a character flaw. This is something that I don't have to deal with and that I shouldn't have to deal with. And they're being manipulative and they're being hurtful and they're being whatever. And the list could go on and on and on. Or let's keep this focused on friendship, because I feel like I'm starting to veer towards more of a relational aspect, even though that can apply to friendships. Let's keep it really, really cut and dry. When it comes to friendships, what do you consider to be a friend? It's so easy to figure out from there whether or not somebody needs to hold that weight of a friendship title in your life. For me, I need a friend who is loyal, a friend who is trustworthy, a friend who is reliable, a friend who has integrity, a friend who can affirm the goodness of God over my life, a friend who is encouraging, empathetic. I need somebody who is there, like someone who will be there. I need somebody who is solid, because I will never require anything of a friend that I cannot give in return. And I mean, if you are a believer, the Bible speaks a lot about friendship. Jesus speaks a lot about friendships. And I feel like Christ's definition of friendship is very solid. And so I go about friendships in that regard now. I'm not going to say I always did that. That would be a lie if I said I always did that. But now, if you want to be in my life in a friendship role, you definitely have to uphold those criterias, that I have set. And I feel like once you figure out what exactly it is that you believe a friend should be, because I personally feel like a friend should be able to be there with you when you go through rough patches, not just when you're having fun. For example, a lot of people will have friends and stuff in their lives that are only there for the turn up. Oh, let's go party. Oh, let's go do this. Oh, let's go do that. Oh, let's go whatever. But then when you're going through real life things and you need those friends, where are they? Are they present when you reach out and you really need their help? Are they there? Do they care? That's when you really see the content of someone's heart towards you. That's when you see their heart's posture and you really can take it for what it is as to what their role is in your life. Now, I understand that people go through things and that's a different instance. But if you know that this person isn't going through anything, or they're just not being there for you, the way that you would expect a friend to be there for you, then maybe that could be an indicator. I'm not saying that's a deal breaker, because there are things that people share and don't share. It's situational. I'm just making this video to give you a basis of what you should consider when thinking about, okay, it's time to let this person go. It's time to carry on my life. Another huge way that you can know if somebody, friendship-wise or relationship-wise, needs to be a part of your life. If they're bringing positivity into your life. If you leave somebody more drained than how you came to them, that's a huge indicator that you may not need to have them around, if you're going to them and you're constantly pouring into this person, pouring into this person, pouring into this person, and they're just taking, and it doesn't really feel like they're pouring into you in any way, shape, form, or facet, that's probably another big indicator that you may not need to have them around. And I feel like the issue with a lot of us in this generation, because I don't exclude myself because I'm a part of it, and I've dealt with those things, is just not putting more emphasis and weight on what your requirements are for a partner or a friend. It is okay to have criteria. It is okay to have things that you desire that are deal breakers in a friend or in a partner. You know, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because you know what you need and you know the things that you desire out of this life. So you have every right to be picky about who you're going to come into agreement with, because who you come into agreement with is so important. Case in point, the Bible story where there was a paralyzed man and his friends were there helping him, taking him over to where Jesus was at in hopes that he would get healed. What if he would have had friends that didn't care? Friends that weren't invested in him? Friends that didn't care that he was paralyzed and desired to get healing? If he didn't have the right people around him, imagine how different his life story would have been. He got healing. His friends helped him. They lifted him up metaphorically and physically and took him there. And they wanted healing for him. They wanted those things for him. They wanted good things for him. And they were willing to go through whatever they had to go through, because it was a huge risk to cut a hole open in someone's roof and drop somebody down to talk to King Jesus, honey. I mean, think about it. In this day and age, if Jesus was still walking on this earth physically, because Jesus is still among us spiritually, of course, but physically, and you cut into somebody's roof. If somebody cut into my roof and me and Jesus were chopping it up, I'd be like, now hold on, Jesus, can I call the cops? Because this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Literally, it was that important. It was that imperative that he came into agreement with people who were good for him, people who had high hopes and love for him and cared about him, you know? It's that important. It can affect your destiny that much, you know? So that's why I'm saying consider those things. Because if you have people around you who are doing the exact opposite, who don't care, you need to count it a lesson, because it's not a loss. It's never a loss when it's somebody in your life that's not supposed to be there. And go, you know? And I feel like it can be hard, I know, and we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about how to deal with it. Once you cut the dead weight, now what? We're going to talk about it. But it's just important. It's so imperative to consider those things. Who you come into agreement with impacts your destiny. It's that heavy. It is that heavy. And it might be like, oh, it's kind of light. It's not that serious. The people who you spend your day-to-day life with, who you chop it up with on the regular and call a friend or a boo, it is that imperative, and it can affect you that much. It is the little things that affect the big things. It is having somebody around you who affirms you and who doesn't let up on you when you start getting lazy and when you start getting down on yourself. That person who is quick to come in and encourage you and to speak life over you and to push you to your fullest potential and to let you know when you're doing something stupid and to get back on track, and let's get motivated, let's get smart, let's get intentional. What's not clicking? Let's do, you know what I'm saying? It is the small little differences between that person who's doing those things and that person who is just like a yes man and doesn't really care and isn't really there. It is those differences that will really impact your life, whether you pay attention to it, acknowledge it or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're acknowledging it or not, it's still happening. So it's that serious. It's that important. So yeah, that's more regarding the friendship thing. I don't want to make this video super long, so I'm going to go ahead and jump onto the relational aspect of it, because a lot of it can be applied either way. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, you should also be friends with this person too. I mean, you know, it shouldn't just be, you know, we're not going to let you, yeah. Anyways, so when it comes to a romantic partner, are they affirming the goodness of God over their life, over your life, over their life too, but over your life? Are they encouraging you? Do they push you to your fullest potential? Are they there for the right reasons, or are they just there lusting after you, in your face, wasting your time? You know, do they have plans to grow themselves as well as develop the relationship with you? Do they really care? It's just the little things, you know, you can really pick up on that. For me, when I was in relationships I had no business being in, there were huge red flags that I really should have stopped. But I was like, oh, I'm colorblind. Let's keep going. I'm like, no, I should have stopped. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, and I should have, because I wasted my time. But it's okay, because God is the redeemer of lost time. So the sooner you let go of the things that no longer serve you, the sooner you can pick up the things and be handed the things that God has for you. So basically, I can use, for example, when you begin to see a shift in the efforts towards you, romantic efforts, caring efforts, just a shift in effort. They were doing a whole lot of stuff to acquire you in the beginning and to get your attention and to make you fall for them, and then it just stops. It's just a downward descent of them not really caring, them not really trying, them not really doing, and you feel yourself beginning to do a lot. And maybe if I do this with my hair and this with my whatever and act like this and whatever, they'll care about me more. They'll whatever, or That's when you need to go to the drawing board and be like, hey, like, something's not right here. Maybe we just shouldn't be a thing. Maybe I'm dragging it right now. Maybe it's time for me to cut ties with this. Another thing, if you're around these people and it's constantly encouraging you to do things outside of your comfort zone, outside of what you know to be good and true, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to pull back. Maybe I need to stop dealing with this partner. I just don't know about this. You know, those are things that you should pay attention to. If they're starting to treat you foul or any kind of abuse, of course, that's a big red flag. That's when you need to definitely reconsider and pack your bags and go. So there are huge markers that will indicate relationally, such as those. Maybe I need to pull back. For me, I could say I experienced a lot of those. I was in a relationship that was abusive, verbally, they were manipulative. And I know that if we would have continued to date, it probably would have gotten physical, physically abusive. And I stayed way longer than I should have. There were little flags, red flags. He was very hot-tempered, very hot-tempered. Didn't really apologize when he did things that hurt me, just tried to find ways around it. Would try to push me to do things I wasn't even comfortable doing, and of course I deaded it. Would be inconsiderate of my feelings, and those were huge red flags that I didn't pay attention to enough. Like, I noticed it, and with most people we do notice it. It's just we're so blinded by love or our desire to be with a person, or our desire to be married or in a relationship or whatever the case may be. And you can't allow your desire for those things to overcome your common sense and your wisdom and your better knowing of the fact that, okay, this is actually not serving me. The longer you hold on to something that really isn't serving you, the longer you prolong what you do deserve and what will serve you and what will benefit you and what will grow you, So you don't want to do that to yourself. Don't hold on to dead weight. Cut it off. So yeah, I could say that from one relationship. Another relationship I was in that wasn't conducive to anything at all. And I don't even know why I was in it for as long as I was. Well, yes, it was too long. It wasn't like a year or anything, but definitely too long, way too long. It was like I was telling him, oh, this bothers me, like this really, da-da-da-da-da. And it wasn't like it was outlandish, like, okay, like you're dragging it. You're really pulling teeth here and you're doing too much. It wasn't anything that was ridiculous. It was things that actually made sense and should have been considered. Like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with you hanging out around this person that you used to date because they're flirty and I've seen how they talk to you or whatever. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel like, whatever, X, Y, and Z, what may have you. I mean, it's not that serious. Things like that. Red flag, woo, red flag. Or if they're hanging out around people that make you uncomfortable and are disrespectful towards you, funny acting towards you, talk about you, that's your partner, bro. If he or she doesn't get it, red flag. Red flag, red flag. Because if they're really for you, why are they coming into agreement with people who aren't? You know? And who've shown you they aren't. And have said they aren't. You know what I'm saying? It made you feel like, are you an enemy too? That's a red flag. Just not listening, you know? Not listening or being mindful or attentive. Not reciprocating the things that you need in the relationship and they know you need, and it's not like so far out of reach that they couldn't do it. Things that are realistic, that they could do and that you could easily do for them and do for them, and they're just not willing to do it, that's a red flag. Those are things you got to pay attention to. This list could get real long and real crazy. If you guys have any red flags for friendships, relationships, whatever, any stories that you want to share, whether it be in the comments or whether you want to DM me about it or whatever the case may be, feel free. Literally, please do. If you have any video topics or whatever, also, I just wanted to say that before I continued. Feel free to drop them. Share experiences, whatever the case may be. Please, I love hearing stuff from the people who watch my videos and people who connect with me. So please do. But yeah, those are things that you need to pay attention to, things that you gotta be mindful of. And probably means that you need to just be out. Those are huge indicators. If your partner doesn't know how to be loyal, something as simple as that, please go. Please go. Is a huge sign. So that's what I would say regarding the relational things. There are so many things I could say, but I'm trying not to be super, super long-winded, even though I'm already being super long-winded in this video. But yeah, those are huge things. Now, once you finally get to the point of realizing, okay, this doesn't serve me, and you make that effort to cut it off, because you got to do that. You need to be serious, intentional about severing that tie. For some people, all it takes is unfollowing, deleting numbers, whatever, cool. For others, if you know that you have to block this person and remove them from everything, do it. Do what you have to do. Me, I'm the kind of person, I have to block people. I have to remove them, because it's not a matter of, oh, it's because I don't want them to da-da-da. No, it's because I need to set parameters for myself, and I know myself. These are the parameters I have set for myself, because if I don't set those boundaries, those firm boundaries, I might try and double back. Like, you know, it could be something as simple as that. It doesn't always have to mean it's about that person. It could just very well be a you thing, and you know that if you don't block, if you don't whatever, if you don't this and that, you're going to double back. Do what you have to do. This is for you. This is not for them, for anybody else. This is for you, so that you can launch into the things that you deserve and be in relation with the people that you should be in relation with, you know, whether it's platonic or romantic. You have to do that. So do what you got to do. But for me, I always advise delete, block, whatever you got to do, remove from socials, clean break. Okay. Have that conversation, of course. There's no problem with that. If you feel like you need to, if it's so toxic that you can't, then just cut the tie. Of course, what I'm saying is situational. It's not a one size fits all, but this is just kind of like a little guide. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I do. And that's what I advise others to do. If you know that you're that person that really needs to make that clean break, make that clean break, please. Let's just not try and have those wavy lines, you know, those blurred lines, because that gets messy real quick. Yeah, that's what I'll speak to regarding that once you cut the tie. If you are in a situation that requires you to kind of speak to that person, just let them know, you know, because everything is situational. Some situations are more toxic than others and require you just literally getting out because of your safety, your well-being, whatever the case may be, or because you know it's just going to be a hot mess. Then yeah, break those ties, block, delete, whatever, and just keep it pushing. But if it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, this deserves a conversation, this deserves whatever, just keep it real short, simple, and sweet. Just let them know in a respectful way, this is no longer serving me. I don't feel like we need to be in agreement with each other, or I'm at a point where I feel like we've grown apart and this friendship or relationship is no longer serving me. And I don't want you to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine by further being in whatever relationship or friendship, whatever. So let's just part ties. I feel like that would be best for me, and I hope you understand. I feel like that's what would be best for us, probably. Because if you're not supposed to be with somebody, they probably not supposed to be with you, whether it's friendship, relational, whatever. But yeah, I think that's what would be best for us. And I hope you do well. I wish you well, whatever. And just keep it pushing. Just keep it simple, short, and sweet. If they don't respond well, they can't say that you didn't come about it in a way that was respectful and conducive to a clean break. You can only control what you do. You can't control how other people react. You can only control how you react to things and what you say and how you go about things. So just try and go about it in the most respectful, calm, cool, collected way possible. Once you've done all that, I feel like when it comes to healing and moving forward, some people heal faster than others. Some people maneuver it differently than others. For me, it just depends. It's situational. Depending upon how deep that friendship or relationship was to me, how strong that soul tie was, whatever the case may be, if there was a soul tie. Being prayerful is very important if there is a soul tie, because soul ties can happen in friendships too. So asking God to sever that soul tie and to help you heal is imperative. If you have to fast, you could do a fast. If you have to be really deep in prayer about it, go really deep in prayer about it, and go into that secret place with God and just petition the Lord and ask him to help you maneuver it, because who better to help you than your creator? God is here for you. He cares about you. He's close to those who are brokenhearted. That's a verse. I can't remember. I think it's in Psalms. If I'm wrong, correct me. I can't remember where it is, but God's close to the brokenhearted. So if your heart is broken, ask God to help you deal with it, because your heart is hurting and you know that you did the right thing, but it's just a lot. God is willing to help you. Even if you're not brokenhearted about it, it's just kind of weighing heavy on your heart, whatever the case may be. Ask the Lord to help you to deal with it. And if you need to go to therapy too about things, go to therapy. Jesus in therapy, man. Hey, it helps. So I'm a firm believer that God places people on this earth that can help us too. Of course, ask the Lord for help. That's important. Pray. That's important and necessary. But therapy helps too. Having healthy coping mechanisms from, I guess, dealing with the loss of having someone in your life, is important. If it means picking up a hobby that's healthy, healthy hobbies. Not, oh my gosh, now I'm finna go get drunk every night because da-da-da-da-da. Now I'm finna go get high every night to deal with the pain. No. Healthy coping mechanisms. Like, okay, maybe I'm going to pick up jogging, or maybe I'm going to pick up a sport or something. Maybe I'm going to pick up a new, technique like sewing, or I like art, so I'm going to start drawing. I like listening to music, so I'm going to listen to music and have a dance break for an hour a day. I'm going to start going to a dance class or a cooking class, or I'm going to pick up a new, things like that. I'm just spitballing here, but things of that nature, that degree. Pick up a hobby that makes you happy. Maybe when you were a kid, you really, really, really enjoyed going in to the park and walking on trails and stuff with your parents. Hey, go do that. I'll set aside this time each week to do this. Go to that trail that I used to love going to and walk, and go to the park or whatever, because it makes me happy and that's helping me to get through it. Do that, If you need somebody to talk to, have that one person who is healthy and who is conducive to good things in your life, who you can trust and does deserve to be in your life. Ask them, hey, do you have the capacity to handle this? Because what I'm about to say, because I really just need to vent or talk to somebody about what I've been going through. Have that safe haven. Of course, talk to the Lord too, but you can have that person here on earth that you can talk to about what you're dealing with, because now you've let go of this person. Now you're kind of going through it. Have those things set up, for yourself, so that you can heal and that you can get through it. It's not going to help you if you're starting to self-isolate and you're not praying, or you're not getting the help you need, or going to therapy, or having things set so that you can be happy. It's not going to help you. It's not. You have to have those things. You have to do those things. You have to make that active effort to heal and to move forward. Otherwise, it's going to be real rough. Okay? So have those things set in place, because I definitely had to have that. When I tell you, you are watching the right video from the right person, I have dealt with a lot of situations where I had to cut ties with people, and it hurt and it wasn't easy. But as I began to implement things and do things that were conducive to my healing, that were healthy and effective, I was healing. And healing isn't always linear. That's important to remember too. Healing doesn't always look like a straight line. It might for some people, and if that's the case, that's amazing for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But healing isn't linear for everybody. So you might have your days where you're feeling a little low energy and just like, I'm really feeling it today. And on those days, take the time to get in your scripture, ask God for help, pray, talk to the people that make you feel good, eat something you like, go to your favorite restaurant, go to your favorite spot or whatever. If it's like a trail, or I like going to this lake and just looking at the ducks or something, or I like sitting outside and watching the sunset, make time for it so you can feel better. Or I like listening to this song, it makes me feel happy. Listen to the song and feel better, you know? Have those things in place. And it might seem little and dumb and stupid, but it's the little things that really help. It's the little things that you do to pick yourself up that really count, you know? Also, I always encourage people to have words of affirmation that you read over yourself. Mine have scripture, and then some of them are just sentences. I would encourage you to have both. I literally have a few words of affirmation on this wall that you guys can't see to the right of me. And it has things that affirm the goodness of God over me, like how God views me, how God sees me, the things that God desires of me. He has plans to prosper me and not to harm me, plans to give me a beautiful life in the future, like things like that. And I'll affirm it over myself, even on the days where I do feel good. So even on the days where you do feel better, continue to do those things so you can continue to feel even more better. It's like medicine. Just because you have the probiotics or the antibiotics and you're starting to feel better after a week, it says you got to take it for 2 weeks, babe. Take it for the full 2 weeks, honey. You know? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, of course, don't just do it for 2 weeks, like when you're going through things or whatever. But it was just a little comparison. Like when you're starting to feel better, doesn't mean you have to stop taking that medicine. You know what I'm saying? Continue to do that. Continue to feel better. Continue to heal. Continue to feel good about yourself and about life, and continue those healthy habits, because it'll help you to carry on, you know? So that's what I would say regarding letting go and knowing when to let go. There are always red flags. There are always huge indicators that will let you know what it is that you should do regarding people and certain situations and things. So just consider those things. And yeah, I love you guys. God loves you. Thanks for watching.